All right, so we're diving deep today into a recent one-day international cricket match.
Yeah,
And, I'm always fascinated when, expectations get flipped on their head.
right.
And that's certainly what happened in this match between Australia and Pakistan.
Absolutely.
And talking about Australia, a team known for its cricketing dominance, getting thoroughly outplayed by Pakistan.
Yeah, it was a pretty decisive victory for Pakistan.
So let's start with the scorecard because I got to say, looking at the numbers alone, it's kind of shocking.
Yeah, the scorecard tells a pretty clear story.
Australia only managed to scrape together 163 runs.
163.
Yeah.
And the commentators were even joking, calling it a warm-up score.
A warm-up score. I mean, that's got a sting for the Aussies.
It definitely wasn't the start they were hoping for.
So walk us through this. What exactly went so wrong for Australia?
Well, a big part of it comes down to one Pakistani bowler, Haris Rauf.
Okay.
He was just on fire that day, taking out half of Australia's top order batsmen.
Wow. So
Yeah.
he was just picking them off one by one.
Pretty much. And these weren't just any batsmen. These were Australia's key players, the guys they rely on to set up a big innings.
I see. So taking out those key players early on must have really thrown a wrench into their whole strategy.
Exactly. It completely disrupted their game plan. They went from aiming for a big score to just trying to survive.
Yeah, I can imagine the pressure must have been immense for those remaining batsmen.
Oh, absolutely. The pressure was definitely on, and it showed in their batting. They were playing defensively, just trying to avoid getting out.
Now, for those of us who might not be as familiar with cricket lingo, could you break down why that's such a big deal?
Sure. So in cricket, you want to score as many runs as possible. And to do that, you need to build partnerships. You need batsmen to stay at the crease and score runs consistently.
Right.
But when your top order batsmen are getting taken out early on, you lose that momentum, you lose the ability to build those partnerships, and it becomes a real struggle to put up a decent score.
Got it. So essentially, Pakistan's bowling attack just completely threw Australia off their game right from the start.
Yeah, they really put them on the back foot. And the commentators even described it as watching a line of people rushing to catch a bus.
Wow, that's quite the visual.
Yeah, it really paints a picture of the chaos and the scramble that was happening out there.
So with Australia setting such a low target, how did Pakistan approach their innings?
Well, with only 163 runs to chase, you might expect them to be a bit cautious, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe take their time, build a steady innings, but that's not what happened at all.
Really? So what did they do?
They went out there and they just they treated it like a walk in the park.
No kidding.
The commentators were calling it a coffee break rather than a proper run chase.
So it sounds like they weren't even breaking a sweat.
Not at all.
Yeah.
They were completely in control from start to finish.
So what made their victory so effortless? Was it just the low target, or was there more to it?
Well, the low target definitely played a role. It's hard for a bowling team to stay motivated when their opponents only need a relatively small number of runs to win.
Right, I could see how that would be demoralizing.
Exactly, but Pakistan also deserved credit for their batting.
Yeah.
They executed their strategy flawlessly, they were patient, they picked their shots carefully, and they punished any loose bowling from Australia.
So it was a combination of factors that led to their victory.
Yeah, it was a perfect storm of brilliant bowling from Pakistan and maybe a bit of a mental lapse from Australia.
Yeah, because, I mean, we're talking about Australia here, a team that's usually so strong and so composed.
Mhm.
So to see them crumble like that, it's surprising.
It definitely raises some questions about their current form.
And the commentators ended the match wondering if we might see any surprise endings in the next ODI.
Yeah, they left us hanging a bit.
So what do you think? Was this just a one-off, a fluke performance from Australia, or could this be a sign of deeper problems within the team?
It's hard to say for sure based on just one match, but it definitely gives them some things to think about.
What kinds of things?
Well, they need to figure out what went wrong with their batting. Why did their top order collapse so spectacularly?
Yeah.
Was it the pressure of the occasion? Was it Pakistan's bowling? Or was it something else entirely?
Right. And they also need to look at their bowling attack.
Absolutely. They need to figure out how to put more pressure on the opposition batsmen, how to create more opportunities to take wickets.
Yeah, because if they can't do that, they're going to struggle against any team, not just Pakistan.
Exactly.
So this one match has really thrown up a lot of questions about Australia's form and their future prospects.
It has. It's definitely a storyline to keep an eye on.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive. Thanks for breaking it all down for us.
My pleasure.
I think we all learned a lot today, and I know I'll be watching the next ODI with a lot more interest now.
Me too. It'll be interesting to see how both teams respond.
All right, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but we'll be back soon with another fascinating look at the world of sports. Until then,
See ya.
bye.